FC Naples 1, Union Omaha 2. FC Naples falls to the league leaders on the road. A tale of three periods, I guess you could say. Started off really dominant performance by Naples, I thought, and then Union Omaha kind of took over the game, especially in the second half, and had all the chances. They were able to finish off with two really good goals, you might say. Unfortunate not to come away with any points for Naples. Paul, what did you make of this one?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head there. I thought we dominated the first 30-ish minutes of the game, and honestly surprised we only let up 2 goals. I mean, some of their chances weren't high danger, but they just had so many that maybe they make an extra pass, they find the back of the net, and Delgado played really well early on. I mean, that first goal was awesome to see. A long ball from Delgado to Farine, who plays an excellent cross, and our guy gets his second goal of the year off a deflection, heads it in himself. Was to me a great goal from us, and kind of what you like to see on the road. Something out of nothing, and we haven't really seen a whole lot of that this year. Um, you know, One pass goalie to Farine to the back of the net. It wasn't super well worked, and we had a couple opportunities where we worked the ball in, and Farine just couldn't find the back of the net. I think if you would have bet Farine over shot attempts, under shots on target, you would have made a lot of money. But if one of those maybe finds the back of the net, he had a couple really good chances early. And the back line did, I thought, a really good job. Delgado did a really good job containing them until you get a set piece, late in the second half. And Delgado was kind of just in a tough spot. Do you play the free kick, or do you play the guy running in who came really close to heading that ball? And I think if he heads the ball, we're up 1-0 still. But unfortunately, he doesn't head the ball. It hits off the turf, and Delgado just couldn't react. And then this third goal, I don't know. I'm like torn if Delgado should have saved that. It felt like, if he
No,
was
I
just
think there's
maybe,
no. That was a great bar. Like
it was
no
it.
goalkeeper in the world's ever going to save that shot.
It was just, maybe if Delgado was 6 inches taller, he gets a glove
I
on
don't
that.
know.
I don't
That
know.
was that was perfect placement on that shot.
Uh, but we talked about it. Like, we beat ourselves more often than not, and that was a case where a bad ball, right back, center back running up the field, you turn it over, and now we're 2 men down, and they work it well. And I believe the guy that scored their first goal got the assist on that one. So
Hmm.
tough way to give up the second goal. Um, but it felt like it was coming. I think even when we were up 1-0, I was still just hoping we would walk away with a point. I think even up 1-0, I would have taken a point. So to give up two late like that was tough. And right, you didn't see the back end fight that we're used to seeing with Naples. Those kind of final 10 minutes, we're used to seeing them get a lot of chances that just don't fall. And that one, we couldn't even do that. So um, I think it was a fitting result for what we saw on the pitch.
Yeah, unfortunate. You look at Omaha; they're a really good team. Um, that first 30 minutes had me really excited because, like you said, we looked to be the better side. That first 30
Hmm.
minutes, we were all over
Yep.
them. We were pressing them. We were creating chances. Farine had a couple balls that fell to him in front, just unable to finish them. We put a couple shots wide. We were making stuff happen. We were controlling the game. We were taking it to Omaha, which I was really not expecting us to do at all. It seemed like we were kind of clicking. You mentioned the goal. Yeah, that was a great distribution, great pass from Delgado out wide to Farine. Farine beats his man, cuts it back, and there's Aravalo, who has been injured for the start of the season. He's come in. A guy that we've not really talked about now, but now that's 2 goals in 2 games for him.
Hmm.
He's looking to be like he might be our new striker. I know we've said that a few times this season already, but hopefully he can stay healthy now, kind of find his groove up there. But yeah, that first 30 minutes we were all over them. And it was so nice to see us back to being able to create chances, to have a couple of those moments where me sitting, I was actually on the couch in the hotel. We were up at Disney World with the family watching this one. But a couple chances that just you kind of get up out of your seat and go, ooh, right. I felt like it's kind of been a while since we've
Hmm.
had such creativity up top. So that was really nice to see. And then the game, Omaha kind of found their footing after our goal. Like you said, that after that 30th minute, we saw an incredible save from Delgado to keep it, tips it up onto the bar, and then snatches it before it can go over the line late in the first half. Just, I mean, if that goes, that probably is go. That's another,
Hmm.
goal of the week candidate if that goes in. And then it's 1-1 going into halftime, and we've got to try and figure something else out. But yeah, we keep it 1-0 going into halftime. And then I didn't think we played poorly to start the second half, because it wasn't until we made it almost 70 minutes until we saw that Gutierrez wonder strike. But with their changes at halftime, both of their goal scorers came on, with Gutierrez coming on and then Jiba coming on, who scored the worldie, I thought, for them. It was we you knew it was coming, right? It was just they're gonna wear us down. I was hoping we would get a case like the Richmond game earlier in the season when we were on the road and snuck out of there with a 1-0 win. Even though it was against a 10-man Richmond side, we really weathered that storm well. This one, I thought, to Naples' credit, to keep them at 2 goals was good, right? But it's still these silly mistakes at the back that are costing us. We give away the free kick out wide. They capitalize on it, which, props. Delgado, if he comes for that, then he's probably going to get on the head on it and it goes in. If he doesn't come for it, well, then it's going to skip in and go in. And it's just unfortunate. The free kick goal, again, it's Gutierrez is a really good player, and I don't think he'll be in this league very long for
Hmm.
Omaha. He's one of the ones that you look at him and it's like, okay, he can play. Then the second goal I thought was a screamer, but again, it's a silly giveaway. It's Hudson Gay down, and he's really young. He's got some time and experience to come. But down that right wing, it's like, just get the ball out of there, and it's a silly header as we're trying to transition up the field. We turn the ball over, and boom, they make us pay. So yeah, it's one of those. It's just a tough game to tough this sport. It's just a tough game to be a fan of at times, and that was, I felt
Hmm.
like, one of those games where we didn't necessarily play poorly. Thought we could have gotten something out of that game, but just came up against a better team, and you hope we can all get healthy again and kind of get back to the groove.
Yeah, and you talked about it. We did so well deflecting their chances, right? You didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned they didn't score till the 70th minute. That's true, but watching that game, there were kind of, you're talking about, you're getting out of your seat. What a good chance! I felt the opposite in the second half for us, where it
Oh
was
yeah,
like that was a really big chance for them. Thank God, we were able to parry that one away, or Delgado, and the tough thing was they weren't hard saves, right? Like, we were able to weather their big chances where they
and yeah,
resulted in soft shots, and
and I
it
think that was a
looked.
lot of credit too to the back line and the
Mhm.
midfield too, to getting back and putting them under pressure, stopping them from creating anything. We saw a lot of guys stepping in, winning challenges, and keeping them from doing what they wanted to do. But it's yes, I felt like you just kind of knew there was a goal coming, and we did have a couple chances late on, but nothing that really got us going.
Yeah, and it's tough, and right. It's a reason Ted Lasso is famous for "It's the hope that'll kill you." Obviously, much smaller scale here, with it just being one game, but man, you would have really liked to see us walk away with a point here, especially with the way we started. It it's a tough. It's tough, and it just feels like at this point, it feels like we're saying the teams we're playing are really good. Like, at some point, that's got to pivot to, we're also very good, and that's what we want teams to be saying against us. But then you look at the standings, and every team we're playing is currently above us, other than the team we're playing next. And Boise's a couple points below us, but we do have that game in hand. Um, so we've done what we needed to. Westchester, Richmond, um, Sarasota, like we've beaten those teams that are all bottom feeders. Really need Greenville and the Cosmos to come on the schedule. Like that's after a game like this, that's who you want to see
Yeah.
midweek, not a team that can't lose. And I think that's what's made it really hard to kind of get out of this funk that we're in. And I think I love Peyton. Peyton was thirsty, I guess, in the background. She was
So
slurping up some water. Um, you know, Westchester came onto the schedule. We beat them. That's what we needed. And going back, like it really was a must win game, because if we lose that game, I mean we're not in a playoff position right now. Um, so weather the storm. I think one more game before the schedule opens up, if we're as good as we think we are, right? I think Charlotte's going to be really good, but then the schedule opens up a little bit, and hopefully we can take advantage of what appears to be a weaker part in the schedule, with Chattanooga, um, home against Portland, and then the Cosmos, Madison, Sarasota, Avialta, Westchester. Like those are the next run of league games. And as hard as we've talked about our schedule being of late, after this game Wednesday, you kind of are like, this is now the challenge, because we need to win and not really win and draw all these games upcoming, because that's what you're supposed to do. So stinks that we got Charlotte, who's looking really, really good right now. But then brighter days ahead. We do have that soft part of the schedule against some of the weaker teams in the league, and that's where we gotta get our mojo back and move back up and hold our position.
yeah, it's tough too because these tough games have been coming up when we've got a lot of guys out on injury. We've been missing Chris Garcia now for a few games. He's been out injured. Um, we've seen Yoder and Master Antonio kind of and Rose have all kind of been playing what looks like through some knocks, right? And we keep having all of these games. It seems like there's not been a break, right? We can't catch a break. It's tough team after tough team after tough team, and it's a real test of who this team is. And since that Knoxville game, though, I have felt like we've really stepped up and we haven't been blown out or completely played off the pitch, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we were the better team for the first 30 minutes, and then we hung in there with Omaha, who is a great team. And you look at they've won 9, they've drawn 1, they've lost 2 all season across 12 games.
Mm-hmm.
It's they're really good, right? Now we've got Charlotte on short rest. They're also really good as of late. They've won 4 straight in the league, 5 straight if you include the Prinks Tires Cup, where they knocked off a championship side on penalties a couple weeks ago. But they seem that like they've found a groove now, so it's not a lot of rest coming soon. But after we play Charlotte, back-to-back league games now, because this Sarasota team's going in the Prinks Tires Cup, but it's the games that just keep coming and they keep coming and they won't stop coming. It's tough, and I know I'm getting exhausted. I can't imagine what these players are feeling like, especially when you throw all the travel in there, because we're playing
Mm-hmm.
home to Charlotte and then we go to Charlotte not this Saturday but next Saturday. So it's a lot going on, and you hope that we can get back to healthy and kind of find our way. It's a really long season, so I'm not worried yet, but starting to think, all right, we got to start finding points in here somewhere.
Yeah, and it doesn't help when you mix in Orlando City and Miami FC, that it feels like it's been worse than it is. I mentioned all those losses that have come our way. Um, you mentioned all those losses. None of them have been bad losses. Knoxville is a really poor performance, but the teams we're losing to are good teams other than Madison. That's really the blemish, I guess you could say, in the Corpus draw, but we all know how Corpus is. So you go back to back with you got to go back to back with Charlotte. Um, and then that's when I mentioned the run of games where we should start picking up bulk points. Chattanooga on the road, not easy, but if you want to make the playoffs in the way we've been playing, that needs to be a win. Portland at home needs to be a win. The Cosmos, even on the road, needs to be a win. Madison's due for some revenge, and then Sarasota on the road. Um, and then Alta, Westchester, Alta until we get back into late August when we go when Omaha comes to us. So that's a good stretch of games where we get healthy, we find our stride. We should be, that's where we'll pick up the bulk of the points. And we talk a lot about win at home, draw against good teams on the road, beat bad teams on the road. That's how you're going to have an excellent season. And that's where we're at. If we want to host a playoff game, most of those games that I just mentioned need to be wins, and the ones that aren't need to be losses. We cannot lose against any of those teams after this back-to-back against Charlotte. I think Sarasota, I think that's a throwaway game in the Prince Tire Cup. I really think that that's a game the team should not put the best guys out there, other than kind of just to get some reps and some keep the fitness levels. But I do have optimism for that stretch. Not ready to hit the panic button yet. I promise I will not hit that panic button until after these back-to-back Charlotte games. And then if it stays on this trajectory, maybe I'll hit that panic button.
Yeah, back to back Charlotte. Charlotte's good. If we can take 3 points out of those, whether it be at home or on the road, I'd sign up for it now.
Would you take
4 point.
1 point? Would you take 1 point right now? I guarantee us 1 point in those two matches. Are you going to take that?
Give me two, and I probably would, just because walking away having not
Well, that's
lost
easy.
then is
That's an easy
yeah,
one.
1 point. Oh, I mean, 1 point would be better than no points, right? But I think we could potentially get them in one of these two fixtures. It's crazy to me that they are back to back, but that's just the way the USL League One schedule works, I guess. It's like you said, it's brighter days ahead. It seems we just need to weather this storm, keep weathering this storm. It's frustrating. I know we've both been talking a lot in the group chat, and we're all kind of like, come on, guys, like we got to find a win in here somewhere. We got to get the win. And Westchester did seem to inject some more confidence in us because we did play really well for the first 30 minutes. And we're starting to find stuff. We had chances there at the end. It was just kind of like we were throwing everything at the wall, though. And with the injuries, we didn't really have a lot of attacking options to bring off the bench. So we saw late on in that one, we saw two center backs with Yoder and Rose both coming on in replace of Farine and Gray, who I thought both of those guys were, I mean, they were gassed at that point, but it just stunk. We couldn't throw more attack at them. So would love to use kind of this Saturday Prinks Tires game against Sarasota as a reset of, okay, let's let some guys try and earn their spot. We've seen Ian Cerro has stepped up, I think, coming off the bench this season. Give him the start and let him try to take a shirt off of somebody. There's maybe Alex BT. I think there's some more signings in the works, according to some rumors that I've heard. So, we'd love to see some more kind of bolster this team up and help support us as we go throughout the rest of the season. Because it's these games, they don't stop. We're not like the MLS where we're taking a month and a half off for the World Cup. We're playing right on through it, baby.
Yeah, and I'm laughing because I did just click on Corpus's schedule, and their no wins, 5 losses, 5 draws, and all 5 of their draws have come against top teams.
Yep.
two against Knoxville, us, Spokane, and Fort Wayne, and that just made me smile of what a funky league this is, because I'm looking at the table and we're still kind of in that shotgun where we've played 12 games. Sarasota's us and Omaha have played 12. Sarasota's played 13. Everybody else is down, 11 or fewer. And to put it into perspective, Omaha's 7 points up on Knoxville, who's also really good. A game in hand, but even if Knoxville wins, they're still 4 points clear. I mean, this when you put it that way, we didn't look the best at times in the second half, but it took two great goals to beat us. Um, and really throw away Knoxville, that performance. Not really, it's been fine. Not sitting here saying we're at this moment in time a championship contender. I think that the way we've been playing, you're not going to sell me on that at this time. It doesn't mean we have, it doesn't mean that we don't have the pieces. But once we get everybody healthy, everybody playing together, and you mentioned the injuries we've had, Alvarado injured, now he's in. Like, what are we going to see when we got him and Garcia in the lineup with Farine and Gray on the wings? There is a lot to be excited about. We get that back line shirt. I think McGletty's going to be a long-term answer there, getting them all on the same page. And we got two really good goalies. So it, I wish this, we could sim 2 weeks and be talking the optimism post these two Charlotte matches, because I am not optimistic. I'm definitely not as optimistic as you about catching them for 3 points. Um, they're just looking at them. I mean, that's one of the most intimidating resumes I think I've ever looked at in the year and a half we've been doing this. And that's including Omaha, who we just previewed, and as good as Knoxville was last year. So it doesn't mean we can't catch them, but it is a tall task. And like I said, I think these next two games, we bear through this, and then that's when we'll find out if we're a playoff team, if we're a home playoff team, or if we're going to be fighting for a playoff spot after that next kind of run of games during the World Cup.
Yeah, sure. So let's talk about Charlotte Independence. Kind of preview this one. Wednesday night, 7:30 at home. Back-to-back games this week at home. So Wednesday night, 7:30, and then Saturday against Sarasota in the USL Cup, the Brinks Tires Cup. Charlotte has had kind of a funky season. They started off pretty well there. They had, a draw, and then they won 2 games in a row, or won twice in the Open Cup, knocked off Charleston in the Open Cup, who's a USL championship side, a good championship side at that. And then they lost to the Cosmos on the road and to Knoxville on the road, which Knoxville, we talked about, Knoxville's really good, right? So no sweat there. But since then, they've not lost. So that last loss came on April 18th. So they've kind of been in the opposite direction of us, where they can't seem to lose. They've won all these games in a row. They drew with Fort Wayne on the road at the beginning of May there, 2-2. I believe that was Fort Wayne's home opener too. So, this Charlotte team's really good. Couple players to watch for you. It seems like Luis Alvarez is their number one guy. He scored 4 goals this season. Couple of assists in there too. He's kind of been their go-to guy. So watch for him in this game. He's going to be their go-to. He's their main weapon. Couple other guys to Luis Alvarez too, played for the Rowdies last season, so already don't like him, right? He anyone that plays for the Rowdies, not a fan of.
Not a fan.
So just watch for him. But yeah, this Charlotte team, like you said, Paul, I would, if we could get 3 points in these next 3 out of a possible 6, I'd take it right now. Heck, I'd take 2 draws against them. I think that would kind of boost us with some confidence. We're picking up points again, and then we can kind of go into hopefully what should be an easier part of our schedule after that. But back to back with Charlotte, not going to be fun.
Yeah, and I am doing a little bit of a deeper dive, and if this was my full-time job, I would have done this sooner. But I'm taking a dive, which I've not done this in depth, to see kind of how their scores have gotten the way they are. And these games are going to start fast. They've given up goals inside of 5 minutes. They've scored goals inside of 10 minutes all year. They gave up a goal in the first minute. They missed a penalty early in the year in the second minute. Um, I'm looking at that Fort Wayne draw that you were talking about. 4 goals in the first 15 minutes for that 2-2 draw. All 4 coming in the first 15. Um, and I think the key in what scares me a little bit, but also gives me some hope, right, is Naples has had some poor starts. We've had some fast starts. We've had some poor early starts. So can we weather the first 15 minutes? Can we catch them in the first 15 minutes and get that 1-0 lead and then hold on for dear life? This is a team that does score at a good clip. Um, I think they're averaging a little over 2 goals a game in the league. Um, so it's one of those things. Can we use a fast start to our advantage? We're going to have the heat to our advantage. Can we catch them slipping early, get that right hook to the jaw, and see what happens? Now, to Charlotte's defense, they do respond well. So it'll be interesting. Can we take a 1-0 lead into halftime and then hold on for dear life in that second half? Can we get a second goal? As much as they like to score, they don't concede as much. Held Spokane to no goals, so you might have the stats in front of you.
Yeah,
I'm doing this math in my
they've
head.
scored 20 goals this season. To put that in perspective, we've scored 12. They've also given up 12 where we've given up 13. So we're giving up goals at about the same rate. They're just scoring a lot more.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's our game. That's their game, right? So when those two styles clash, I do feel when styles like that clash, it usually plays to the benefit of the team that's more sound defensively, slows the game down. But at some point, you got to ask the question: can Naples score 2 goals in a game?
Yeah,
Can we get a second goal? And that's what's been missing. When we have scored early, we haven't been able to find that second goal to really put an umph on the command of the game.
yeah. Outside of the Fort Wayne game, we've struggled to Fort Wayne and Sarasota. We've struggled
Mm-hmm.
to kind of get more than a goal. It's
Tease. The first 2 games we scored 2 goals,
mm-hmm.
and we've done it once since. So what's at some point, right? You can only go so far when you score 1 goal a game. You can only go so far in the league. It's just
And we did a good job against Greenville of getting the 1-0 win, grinding it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other thing is we've struggled to come back too when we give up a goal first. Not that that's happened against Omaha. We scored first, but it seems like once we give up that first goal outside of Portland, we've not been able to come back and get anything from a game. Portland, we got the 1-1 late goal by Max Glasser. So I think in order to succeed against Charlotte, we're gonna have to score early and then find another one and get 2 on the board, because these guys have proven that they can score, and we're gonna have to then sit back and defend for our lives after that, because they'll get forward. So I don't think we'll have a problem opening them up. So I want to look for Delgado to keep playing those long balls forward, picking out those guys on the wings, having those guys, Gray and Farine, I thought had a good game, taking on their mans out wide, cutting the ball back. Aravalo, too, is currently tied second for total goals on the year with 2 for FC Naples. So, and he's played in 2 games.
Yeah, and Bastianstein, I believe, is another one with 2 goals, and those came in the first 2 games. So, it's the question of where the goal is going to come from, and that was the biggest offseason question. That fear has come true. I think we were lulled into a false sense of hope with those, with beating Fort Wayne 2-0, who, looking back, I mean, good win. I mean,
that was a great win.
I mean, they're going to be a playoff team. And that Corpus game, we do put up a disappointing draw, but you're kind of like, okay, we do have a good offense. And then from there, it's just, so you said we've scored 12 goals this year. 4 of them came in the first 2 games. You know, a third of our goals came in the first 2 games, and we're sitting on the last 10 games have scored 8 goals. I mean, it's not a winning formula. I don't, and it's the hard part is that's not really our style. I think we're a team that's going to win gritty 1-0, but we need to be a team that can win 2-1, and that's that's the next step. If we're going to have a good season, we need to be able to win 2-1. We cannot rely on clean sheets to win games. You got to be able to give up a goal and still walk away with 3 points. That's just not something we've seen this year.
Yeah. So after saying all that, we got to be able to win 2-1. Do you have a scoreline prediction for us?
I I feel like I say 2-2 all the time. It doesn't happen because we don't score 2 goals. I'm going to go with that again. I'm going to go 2-2. We're going to walk out feeling good, walking away with a point against Charlotte, because in my opinion that would be a win for us. The way Charlotte's been playing, the way we've been playing, we walk away 2-2. I'll be happy.
Yes. Um, 2 goals against Charlotte. Although they can give up goals, they do seem to be able to find, like, they always find that last, they get the last laugh, it seems, in all these games. With that being said, I'm gonna go way out there. You ready for this one? Midweek game, Wednesday night, USL League One. I'm gonna go 4-4. Let's go, crazy game. I sadly won't be there, traveling for work this week, but I'll be watching on ESPN Plus, and I'll be freaking out in the hotel room, I'm sure. So let's go 4-4. We'll clip this and put it back up on our Instagram again.
Yeah, that I think if we put up 3 goals, regardless of the score line, because I'm guessing if we score 3, it's going to be 4-3. Would be eating my words, but man, it would be so nice to see us go out there and put up multiple goals. It's so much more fun when your team's scoring a lot of goals. Doesn't always lead. You know, we saw Tottenham last year really struggle when they were scoring 6 goals. Their games were 6 goals each week, and they finished in 17th place. So it's not always the best strategy, but it would be fun. Let Charlotte be aggressive, and let's counter attack and take advantage. The opportunities are going to be there. That's something, you know, we just need to finally execute on some of these chances that we've had. And maybe Alvarado's the answer. I mean, 2 good goals from him, spaces the field well. I think 4 goals is not out of reach, even though I think we've done it twice in club history. So that I would be ecstatic with your 4-4 scoreline.
Same, and then hopefully we can carry that momentum then to Saturday against Sarasota, take on them again in the USL Cup, and pick up a win there, keep building on that
Mm-hmm.
confidence, and let's kind of get back into a groove, back into a rhythm of things, and then we still have a long season ahead of us, lots of games to be played, lots of minutes to come, but let's get firing on all cylinders again. Paul, anything else before we get out of here you want to add?
Yeah, you mentioned lots of games left. I think we still got 20 league games to play. I mean, this is far from over. And the schedule gods did not come to us kindly. I think, um, and it's been amplified with the other cups that we've been playing. So, really tough game, and then what should be a cupcake Saturday in a meaningless game. Um, and another good chance to test ourselves. And if you want to be the best, you gotta win hard games. When you get to the playoffs, everybody's good. So let's use this opportunity to get better, and hopefully we can see some fun live stream tweets from you in the hotel room.
Yes, I will be live streaming it. Apologies if you follow us on Instagram. We're looking for the match day vlog. Did not have one at Disney. Trying to get the kids to bed too with the later kickoff is always fun after an exhausting day. It was so hot this past weekend too. So you're right. Maybe the heat will catch Charlotte out. Although I think it's gotten pretty hot up in Charlotte too. But
Seems to be hot everywhere.
Yes, it's just hot everywhere. We're going to see mandatory water breaks in the World Cup. Can't wait for that. which I think is just FIFA. They're saying it's player safety. I think it's just FIFA trying to shove some more advertising down our
Hmm.
throats during the game. 'Cause
We'll
this is
we'll know they
America,
care
right?
about.
We need quarters.
Yeah. Yeah, we need a chance to go get a beer and restock your plate of food. Yeah, I'll believe it's for the players if it doesn't cut to commercial break. Even if they pop ads up, as long as they don't go to commercial, I'll believe I can buy off on the player safety. Not looking forward to it. I hate it. I'm not a fan of the water breaks. Understand it, but not a fan of it. So curious to see how that's gonna play out. And I'm gonna guess we'll see one on Wednesday night in the FC Naples match.
I would bet that we would have a water break. Back in my day, you used to have to fake injuries in order to get a water break.
Hmm.
So what is up with this?
Yeah. Now they fake injuries and get water breaks. So it's
It's
a different.
crazy. It's crazy. What's happened to us?
Yeah. You saw in the Champions League final, the guy just sat in the box for like a minute rolling around, and his teammates even knew he was faking it. They just kept playing. I feel like he was rolling around in the box for about a minute and a half before PSG, after two change of possessions, finally kicked it out of bounds.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I'm also, speaking of the Champions League final, real quick before we wrap up here. I am also of the belief that both managers should be able to agree, or both captains should be able to agree to just forego the extra time and just say, yeah, we'll just go straight to penalties.
Do
Because
not let
that's
Casey. Do not let Casey hear you say that. She is the biggest adversary for stoppage, for extra time. Hates it. She doesn't understand it. But every once in a while, you get that miraculous goal, and we almost saw it in that game.
we did. But then the last 10 minutes of that one just felt like PSG were
Brutal.
just going to knock the ball around until it got the penalties. Also, not to make fun of, as two Forest fans, we got to make fun of Arsenal a little bit. The set piece kings of Europe can't take penalties, and they lose on penalties. So condolences to Arsenal. Congrats to PSG. Only great teams can repeat as
Only
European
great
champions.
teams. Only greats.
Uh, that's going to do it, I think, for this episode. I think we've successfully annoyed all of our Arsenal fans by throwing this in right at the end for them. But thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to follow us on social media at Forza Naples Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Be sure to share the podcast with all your friends. We will see you all soon. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, Forza Naples.